Hi everyone, this is the setup video for the Measure Your Height lab. And so in this lab, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to measure your height in 3 different ways. So this is going to be a longer lab, and it should probably take 2 to 3 times if you're meeting together as a team, or 2 to 3 weeks. So essentially plan for it to be taking twice, 2 or 3 times as long as the first 3 labs. Okay, so you're going to, there's kind of like a few parts to this. So initially you're going to make some measurements. So you're going to have 3 different ways, 3 different experimental methods. So the first way you can do it any way you want. It can be simple, it can be complicated, whatever you want to do. You get to choose however you do it. You don't have to use the iLab device, you can, it's up to you. The second way and third way are going to both require that you somehow use the constant acceleration model to measure your height, to help measure your height, okay? And so in the second one, you're going to use the constant acceleration model and also the accelerometer sensor on your iLab device. Okay, so remember the constant acceleration model you studied is essentially, you came up with all those equations for how we model constant acceleration. Okay, and then the final way, you're going to somehow use the constant acceleration model, but don't use any of the iLab sensors. Okay. So you're going to have 3 different ways, 3 different methods there. And so after you perform these 3 different experiments, okay, then again, go through the process like you did in the previous lab of talking about your experimental design, analyzing your data, and thinking about your data, and then sort of try to think about what can you do to make it better? What can you change to make it better? Okay, and so that's really kind of where part 2 is here. So if you're doing this in like 3-week increments, then maybe you would do part 1 in 1 week and part 2 in the following week. Okay, so you're really going to, in part 2, start thinking about, what could you do to make it better? What were your limitations? How can you change your experimental design to make it better, to get more accurate data? Okay, so again, follow all the prompts. They're meant to help you, guide you, thinking through this. And you're not limited to these. You can think of your own things as well. But there's some things in here that you have to do. You'll see it on the rubric. But most of them are just questions to guide your thinking and your analysis to try to make your experimental design better. Okay, so once you kind of go through that, you're going to have to repeat your experiment. Okay, all 3 of those experiments that you redesigned. Okay, and then you'll go through that again, your data analysis, and you're also going to try to evaluate how valid our constant acceleration model actually is. Okay, and you'll have to come up with some criteria to evaluate this. So this is a pretty intense experiment. It's not going to take you a couple hours to complete everything, and it's really going to be helpful to work in a team. So I definitely encourage you to attend one of the live sessions. Okay, and then the final thing you'll do is you will create a digital poster, and you'll present. Okay, so you can present this live if you come to the in-person lab, in person or on Zoom. You can present it live to me or one of the teaching assistants, or you can make a pre-recorded video. Okay, and so if you're doing this in a team, everyone on the team needs to participate somehow in the presentation. Okay, so and then again, you have the rubric of everything you need to include in in your poster and in your presentation. So as you present, you're going to need to address each one of these, make sure you're addressing each one of these points. So for your submission, what you'll submit on Moodle is you will upload your digital poster as a PDF. And if you are going to do a pre-recorded video, then you'll include the link to the video on your digital poster. Okay, and if you're going to present it live, then you'll just present it live, and you just have to upload the digital poster to Moodle. Okay, and that's it for the Measure Your Height lab setup.